Ladies and gentlemen, our next match of the evening pits the Russian Bear Boris Brezhnev against Anthony Fiasco. Both combatants have victories in high-profile matches, and a win here would have to catapult the winner into the title picture. The Russian Bear Boris Brezhnev making his way down to ringside. Boris is nicknamed the Russian Bear due to his brute strength. You know, a lot of rumors going around about Boris, and we're not really able to substantiate a lot of things, but one of the rumors about him is that back in Russia, he successfully wrestled a bear for 60 minutes. Boris Brezhnev recently competed in Japan's 0-1 Fighting Spirit Challenge 2. Brezhnev, tough as nails. Obviously very proud of his Russian heritage. Boris just shoots referee Andrew Mollon right out of the corner.
Weighing in at 223 pounds, he is from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. He is Anthony Fiasco.
Andrew trying to lay down the law, but I think he's going to have his hands full of Boris tonight. Anthony Fiasco, certainly the crowd favorite here at This Is Powerslam. Anthony Fiasco is the 2009 Adrenaline Cup winner. The Adrenaline Cup is the premier tournament for Canadian wrestlers. Fiasco definitely bringing high intensity to this match. Gotta wonder how it's gonna match up against the Russian Bear Boris Brezhnev. I suspect it's gonna be a slugfest. Referee Andrew Mollon checking out the boot of Anthony Fiasco. Yeah, as I said before, I really feel for referee Andrew Mollon in this match. He's gonna have his hands absolutely full with these two guys. Boris trying to get the crowd going. Not really sure about the Russian contingency here in Whitby. Both men circling, and we get the lockup. Boris seems to get the better of it. Oh, here comes Anthony. Boris with the reversal and headlock into a takedown. Almost has him in a pinning predicament. Anthony leg scissors, reversal. Boris, reversal, takes him down into a headlock. Anthony rolls out, goes back to the armbar. Boris seemingly just biding his time. The rollout. Anthony takes Boris down, goes for the pin, referee won. Little early in this match, I think he really caught Boris off guard. Boris backs Anthony into the corner. Referee putting in the count. Boris, big right hand. Another right hand. He's got Anthony right in that corner. Kick right to the ribs. Boris sends Anthony for the ride. Anthony jump up dive. Big knife edge chop. Follows up with a right of his own. Two. He's got Boris reeling. Reversal. Boris got him right back in that corner. Anthony gets the boot up. Going for something big. Body splash. He's got the pin. One count again. Very strong showing for Anthony Fiasco in the opening minutes of this match. Sends Boris off the ropes. Boris with a reversal. Anthony holds on. Ducks. Boris hits the ground. Freight train coming at him. Looks like Boris is going to take a breather. Referee Andrew Mollon putting on the count. You know, this is so smart of Boris. It's definitely a momentum breaker for Anthony Fiasco. Both men talking smack. Anthony Fiasco sends Boris in the wrong way. Anthony off the ropes. Big knee to the head. Certainly rocked Boris. Referee puts in the count. He gets a 2. Another reversal. Boris going for a back body drop. Anthony just caught him. My God. Couple kicks to the head just for good measure. Anthony's in a bad place. The Russian Bear, Boris Brezhnev, trying to get under the skin of this Whitby crowd. Anthony Fiasco doing the best he can to try and regain a vertical base. Boris with those thick boots. Knee right into the side. Looks like Anthony had the wind knocked out of him. Boris gets him right back in the corner. Kick to the gut. Big, big right hand. Boris Brezhnev, the Russian Bear. You got to give him his due. Anthony Fiasco, series of rights. Another right. He's got Boris reeling on the ropes. Reversal again. Boris gets the better of it. Stiff elbow right to the jaw. Ladies and gentlemen, you just have to give Boris Brezhnev his due. Boris goes for the cover. Referee Andrew Mollon. 2 count. Still pretty early in this bout. Stiff knee to the spine. We're starting to see some early onset of a strategy from Boris Brezhnev. Stretching him out. Anthony Fiasco absolutely just gasping for air. He's trying to build some momentum. Fiasco up to one knee. Fiasco off the ropes. Boris misses it. My God, backbreaker. Anthony's down. Referee puts in the count. Anthony Fiasco somehow manages to kick out. I don't know how he did it, but he did it. Boris Brezhnev with a very big backbreaker on Anthony Fiasco. Really focusing all his attention on Anthony's back. Boris off the ropes. Boris Brezhnev. The Russian dance into a huge jump leg drop. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. You're not gonna pin somebody that likes Anthony Fiasco with a pin like that. That's just sheer arrogance. Boris raining down the rights on Anthony. And again, taking his attention off Anthony, focusing on the crowd. I don't know that that's the smartest move that he can make at this juncture. Anthony Fiasco with the roll-up. Gets a 2 count, just as I thought. Boris took his eyes off the ball just for a second. Anthony was able to almost win this match. Boris stopped his momentum. Boris Brezhnev telling this Russian crowd that it's over. Boris steps over into a Boston crab. A Russian crab. Do they have crabs in Russia? Anthony doing the best he can to try and make his way to break the count. Boris has got him in really good positioning, almost in the center of the ring. You got to think all the work Boris Brezhnev's been doing on Anthony Fiasco's back is going to pay off. Anthony almost to the ropes. Referee puts in the count. Boris is not going to break it. Finally, at the last second, breaks the hold. And again, just jacking his jaw at the crowd. Boris going for that Russian crab again. Anthony's doing the best he can to fight off. Anthony up to his feet. Both Boris and Anthony exchanging rights. Not really sure who's getting the better of it. Boris sends Anthony off the ropes. Reversal. Anthony, stiff elbow. Clothesline. This could be the break Anthony needs. Boris with a reversal of his own. Anthony Fiasco, DDT. Goes for the count. Referee, 1, 2. 2 3/4. Very, very close. Anthony Fiasco questioning the cadence of referee Andrew Mollon's count. Seemed it was pretty right on. Anthony tries to send Boris to the corner. Boris with a reversal of his own. Boris dives in. Anthony catches him with the elbow. Spine buster. Fiasco's hurt. Boris goes for the count. 1, 2. So close.
Ladies and gentlemen, 5 minutes remaining in this matchup. 5 minutes.
The intensity of this match is definitely starting to take its toll on both competitors. Boris up to a knee. Boris again going for that Russian crab. Trying to step over. Anthony's doing his best to fight it off. He's almost got him over. Small package. Referee goes for the count. Boris somehow able to kick out. Big right. Boris sends him off the ropes. Anthony pulls him in. Backdrop. Referee puts in the count. We got 2. Anthony ducks. Enziguri right to the back of the head. Boris, he's seeing stars. Anthony goes for the cover. Referee puts in the count. 2. Only able to get 2. Fiasco finally in control. Sends Boris off the ropes. Boris reverses somehow. Anthony flips over. Catches him again for the Russian crab. If you look at Anthony Fiasco's face, the young man's in pain. Boris just applying that pressure for the Russian crab. Anthony really has nowhere to go. Did he? Anthony Fiasco tapped out.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Boris Brezhnev, the Russian Bear, gets the victory.
Boris Brezhnev.
Referee Andrew Mollon trying to raise Boris Brezhnev's arm. Boris wanting no part of it. He doesn't need you to tell the crowd that he won. He'll tell the crowd he won. Fiasco's hurt. Ref checking on Anthony Fiasco. Fiasco is in pain. My God. We're going to have the doctors check out Anthony Fiasco backstage. He's hurt, holding those ribs. Ladies and gentlemen, as we come back for our Powerslam replay, we see Anthony Fiasco and Boris Brezhnev trading hold for hold. Neither man able to truly get the upper hand in the opening minutes of this bout. Here we see Boris rush in. Anthony gets the boot up. Anthony Fiasco off the top rope. High cross body catches Boris completely off guard. Here we see Boris send Anthony off the ropes. Anthony somehow able to hold on. See Anthony Fiasco pull down the top rope, and Boris, all his momentum, takes him right down to the floor. Again, reversal. Anthony catches Boris off guard. Big DDT knocks him silly. Anthony Fiasco goes rushing in. Boris catches him with a big spine buster. Unfortunately, it spells the beginning of the end for Anthony Fiasco. Boris puts on that Russian crab. You see right here, Boris Brezhnev, aware of his surroundings, has Anthony Fiasco right in the middle of the ring. Anthony not able to reach a rope, forced to tap out. Boris Brezhnev, the Russian Bear, victorious.